Hi, in this part we're going to talk about categories and fragments. We'll implement CRUD operations under them and some selecting logic when we select category with some fragment. Also, I have to add that currently we have some UI components written with inline styles, and we'll fix it in future. We'll move them to UI kit. So let's start, as usual, from high-level design. So I decided to move to diagrams.net, its former Draw.io. Currently here I'm writing the high-level view of the features for category, and we'll consider create, update, and select category. So first, we need to understand that SQLite currently does not support string arrays, and we'll change our database to Postgres in future. But now it will be just strings for our fragments. So we will actually include inside the string our JSON stringified array. And these are flows for our categories. For example, when we create category, we do something like this. We do click, show pop-up, filling info, and save category. And for updating, we open the same pop-up and updating the info. And for selecting, we actually click inside the select component, and we do write this ID to the user model. And after that, we show this fragment from the database. So this is the main view for these features. And now let's see how it looks already implemented. So for example, I choose next.js, and this is the category, and we can edit this category, add some new fragments, delete fragments, save this category, and also we can, of course, create new category and select this category. And currently we see here the content of the first fragment, so we'll fix that in the next videos. So this is it about high-level view for this video. So let's start implementing all of this. So let's start with our implementation, and first we'll do some small steps like adding SVG icons and removing all unnecessary files. So first I will add an icon for editing. After that, I will actually remove favicon because we don't need it. And also I will remove actually fragment router, because for now we keep all our fragments, as I said, just as string inside the category. And actually in our Prisma database, we also will remove a fragment model and fragments from our user and from the category model. So I think that's it, and I should add SVG icon for removing stuff. So this is our trash or bin. We'll use it to remove fragments from the category. And the last thing will actually be some style changes. It's just small things related to global styles. Again, all these things will be inside our UI kit later, but now we just inlined it because we're moving fast, like in startup company, we don't want to refactor everything right now. So for now I will just do some small changes to have our components looking better. It's just some fixes with styles. So I think that's it for this part, and the next thing will be related to adding text area component and fragment form component. Fragment form will be used inside category pop-up to add, delete, and edit our fragments inside the category. First I will add a think fragment form. yeah, actually we need to add text area. So I will add the text area first. So we'll create text area component inside our UI kit. So what we have here, and yes, I don't have our pre here working. It's really important to have all our stuff predefined. So what we have inside text area, we have some props. It's simple props, and we use usual HTML text area component with some styles. So this input primary goes from our global styling, and again, we'll fix it in future because I think it's not the best solution to keep all the styles in global CSS. It's better to have it in UI kit in particular components. So pretty simple text area. And now let's see our fragment form again. Yeah, and don't forget to actually export text area from UI kit, of course, because here we have text area from UI kit inside fragment form. And what we have in fragment form, we have on delete, on change, and value props that will be used when we will keep array of fragments in the state of category pop-up. We'll need these props to actually to do CRUD operations over these fragments. But these fragments, again, we keep it just in memory. So after we do some stuff with state, with React state, we just we add these fragments like a string into our SQLite database. So here we will use actually button to remove this fragment and text area to control this fragment. So we'll provide value to this text area and on change to this text area. And again, it will be controlled from the outside. This fragment form will be used in category pop-up component, but we'll see it a bit later. So now we have our fragment form. And what is our next step? The next big step will be actually creating new logic for the router of category. Yeah, but before that, don't forget to put fragments in the model. Currently, it will be just string in the model of category. And now we can actually, yeah, here we should remove our fragment router because we don't need it. And let's proceed with category router. So here will be actually our main logic with the database. I will add the code here and explain it step by step. So first, actually our getAll, currently I'm making this protected procedure because currently all of this will be made for authorized state. In the future, of course, we will fix that. But I don't want to have this lesson very long. So now all of this will be just for authorized state. So here we just take our categories and return them. Get selected. Actually, this is our new route. It is also protected procedure. What we do here, we grab our user from the context and we see whether we have a selected category ID in this user. And we do need to have this property inside the model. So let's add because we know that category ID is integer, we use int here. So now we want to see, and if you have this problem, selected category ID does not exist, you should try something like this. First, Prisma DB push. Yeah, actually we need to reset our database because we changed the structure of our database. So now when I do Prisma DB push, let's see whether error is still here. And yes, it's still here. Sometimes it happens. Let's try npm run dev. And still we have this problem. So the last thing you can try actually to close your WebStorm and to open it again. Now let's see what we have here. Yeah, seems like currently here we don't have this error. So you can try these things every time you have typing errors like this. Yeah, I think this is a flaw of T3 stack, or maybe integration of T3 stack with WebStorm. So currently what we do actually in get selected, we check whether we have a selected category ID, and if we do have it, we return the category by this ID. This logic for me seems not very clean, and in the future we'll try to fix that, but currently we're just moving forward. So this is get selected category. The next router will be create, and here again protected procedure only for authorized state. We'll create actually also admin procedure in the future to make our categories visible for every users, to actually feel the flag is shared for the categories. But it's about the future, so let's forget right now about it. Here in the create router we have our input. It's very important because here we provide name and fragments for the category. After that, we create the category with the create method, and we provide our name. We provide user as the owner, as user ID from the session, and we provide our fragments. And we actually know that this input fragments should be string. We'll ensure this from the client side. The next route will be update, and here we have a new input category ID, because we should know category ID to update the information of the category. And here we find the category by ID, and we do update it with data probe, and we use it inside the update method. And the last thing will be select. In the select category, actually here, let's make it protected procedure, and let's check whether we have everything in with protected procedure, because right now we don't want public procedure. So here when we select, we grab from the input our category ID, and here, yeah, we don't need this because we know that we have user, because we have protected procedure here. So what we do, we update user model, and we find user by current session, and we do change select category ID inside user model. So that's it about category routes. Let's see, do some cleanup here. So what is the next thing? So the next big part and the main logic actually would be features for the categories to aggregate all this logic. So currently we have fragment form, oh sorry, not that. We have a category, we have create category, select category, and in create category we have create category pop-up and use create category. Actually we'll refactor it right now, because now we have not only create but also update, and it's logical to create pop-up that is shared for creating and updating. So I will remove all of this for now, and I will add here files related to categories. So what we have here, we have category pop-up right now. We had previously create category pop-up, but now it's just category pop-up and it receives category ID that can be null. So what we do here, we actually grab our categories from the query and we find our current category from the ID, from the props. After that, we keep in state our fragments and name, and we update the name and fragments every time we receive new prop. And name is clear, but about fragments, because we keep fragments as array, but we write it in database as a string, we will every time parse it from string and map through them like this and provide each fragment to our fragment form. Here we have pop-up, and also we have create mutation and update mutation. This is very important, and I will show you where exactly we take it. So again, in categories, currently we have 4 features. The main logic with database will be in use category mutations. So here we create all our mutations that go from our tRPC from the API. So we have create, update, and select mutations. Here, every time we have these mutations done, we do invalidate our getAll and getSelected queries because we want to have data synchronized. So here, this is our create mutation, update mutation, and select mutation. So, and we return all these mutations from this hook. So again, let's see on category pop-up. Here we import create mutation and update mutation from our custom hook, and also we provide a callback. Here we have a callback that will be called after onSettled event in mutation. And here we have pop-up, and we have input for the name, which will be changing our state with name, and the main logic for fragments will be here. We'll go through our fragments and render fragment form with onDelete callback, which actually will be changing our state of fragments, and with onChange callback, which will be changing our value for each fragment. Also, we'll have button for adding new fragments to this category, and the button to actually call the mutation of creating or updating category. And this will depend on whether we provided category ID or not. If we provide category ID, we do update, and if not, we do create category. And after that, we reset our name. Probably we should also reset here our fragments. This is about category pop-up. About create category, actually logic here is pretty similar, but we here render category pop-up instead of create category pop-up. Of course, we should not forget to properly export all our features. And now let's talk about the last very important thing about select category. So here, what we do, we grab our categories and selected category from queries. We take our select mutation and we do keep in state our category ID for update. That will go to category pop-up if we click edit icon. And here we destructure name and ID. Here this pop-up will be rendered if we have our category ID for update, if we clicked our edit button. But if we didn't, we'll render the select, actually we'll render select anyway, but this pop-up will be rendered only if we edit something. And in select, when we do select, we do our select mutation. And in render, we do render as previous our items, but currently also we render image with our SVG. And this image button will be calling our ID for update. And that will trigger our model to show. So the last thing actually is to show everything in our page, because we want to see currently selected fragment. We just open our index page, and here we just render simple pre tag with fragments from the selected category. And again, it's very simple implementation. In the future, we'll refactor this. And don't forget, of course, to grab our selected category from the query. So every other stuff is pretty similar. We actually didn't change anything. So now let's try to run this and see what we have. Actually, when I tried to test this solution, I found the issue. I did not provide a default value for a selected category ID, and it caused the error for Prisma. So don't forget to do that. So now let's see how it's working. So we have our application. Let's add some category with a fragment, for example. Let's save it. We have it here. We can select it, and we see it in the HTML here. So that's great. We also can edit. Let's try to edit the name and the fragment. Save. Name is updated here, and also we have content updated here. So seems great. In the next videos, we'll try to implement better logic for all of this, and also removing categories, and maybe we'll try to start implementing input for typing training, but I'm not sure about this. So thank you. See you in the next videos.